Good morning, everyone. This is Mike O'Malley here with a severe weather outlook and discussion recorded on May 2nd, 2023. We recorded on 10 a.m. Eastern Time. A lot of things to jump into today, so starting off with a wide overview of the satellite imagery across the contiguous United States this morning. We noticed that it is pretty quiet across the majority of the area, with the exception, really speaking, of the northeastern U.S., where we have this persistent, pesky area of low pressure bringing down some cooler air and also much more in the way of precipitation out across the northern U.S. And then down here across the southern U.S., this is going to be our main focus today, so let's go ahead and look at that in more detail. Looking at the visible satellite imagery here for this morning, we notice that generally speaking, we have an increase in moisture across the area. This mainly presents itself in the way of upper level moisture. There's not a lot of low level moisture being present right now. We'll take a look at that here in just a second. But generally speaking, there's not a lot of low level moisture in the atmosphere. Most of this is all upper level as a response due to kind of this omega block, this blocking pattern that's setting up across the northern part of the US. And what that is going to do is it's going to drive down a little bit more of this Canadian moisture. And believe it or not, there's moisture this time of the year up there, but we're kind of getting a lot of overrunning between the warmer Gulf of Mexico and some of the cooler waters, or some of the cooler land over here, and overrunning of that moisture. So that's kind of what's going on right now. But generally speaking, a lot of upper level moisture, and this is going to set the stage for a severe weather event later this afternoon and evening. When we talk about the severe weather threat for today, we have a level 2 out of 5 slight risk for severe storms. This generally from about Odessa through Lubbock, Texas. And then we have a marginal level 1 out of 5 risk for places like Amarillo and back through portions of far eastern New Mexico, this well to the east of Albuquerque. But this does go to show that there is some risk for severe storms today, but generally a lower end threat day for these areas. As far as the hail probability for today, there's not a significant threat of hail, only a 5%, meaning you have a 5% chance of seeing hail 1 inch or greater within 25 miles of a given point. Generally speaking, that hail threat is pretty limited today, stretching from Odessa through Amarillo, Texas, and back through eastern New Mexico. But overall, that hail threat is not the greatest of concerns for today. As far as the wind probability for today, we have a 15% area. This is why the slight risk was introduced from places like Odessa through Lubbock, Texas, with a 5% risk extending all the way through Amarillo and into eastern New Mexico. This 15% risk, meaning you have a 15% chance of seeing wind over 58 miles per hour or greater within 25 miles of a given point. We can see here, based off of the NAM 12 kilometer here, this is the higher resolution NAM forecast. We're looking at the dew points, and we notice that the dew points never really get that high. We're only looking at the mid 50s to low 60s dew points out across this area. This is actually, if we back it up here, this is about 20 Zulu time today, so this is getting towards the later afternoon. And our target area is right over here into portions of eastern New Mexico and western Texas. And we notice that the dew points, based off the NAM, never really get that strong here. And in fact, dew points well into tomorrow morning remain very low, only about 10 to 12 degrees Celsius here. This meaning that dew point values never really reach the mid and upper 50s on this particular model here. Now, there are a couple thunderstorms. You can actually kind of see some of the thunderstorm initiation pools out here on the NAM. And so we definitely could see some thunderstorms today out in this vicinity that move eastward with time. These are mostly, I think, going to be elevated. And that's why there is really no tornado risk today, among with the low shear values in the atmosphere. But generally speaking, I think these are going to be very high base storms and not really much in the way of any significant severe weather potential for tornadoes or hail. However, damaging winds from microbursts out of these storms, I think, would be probably the higher end threat to be expected with this. So overall, the severe weather parameters for today across eastern New Mexico and western Texas, we're looking at the lifting mechanism in the atmosphere. There's going to be a moderate source of lift. Generally speaking, we're going to have these thunderstorms initiating off the higher train of New Mexico, and that is going to be a source of lift, orographic lift as we call it in the meteorological world. Moisture, there's going to be moderate moisture. There should be just enough moisture to initiate thunderstorms, especially given the high base nature with higher moisture content aloft that's going to support thunderstorms. Instability, again, generally speaking, on the order of close to about 1,000 to about 1,500, especially aloft, there's going to be instability, but a very weak shear in the atmosphere, which will not promote any tornado threat. Thank you all very much for watching this video. I hope you guys do like it, and I hope you appreciate it. With that being said, I do hope you have a great rest of your afternoon and evening. God bless, take care, and I'll talk to you guys again some more later.